Hello, guys and gals. And we have a book to review here. Actually, it is a graphic novel. As you can see at the top, it is a Viz graphic novel. I've had this for a long time, this book, this graphic novel. And by a long time, I mean a really, really long time. I'm not exactly sure if this was like new when it came out or what the year was, but I just remember having this for a long time. Now, I've always been a fan of Dragon Ball. Well, Dragon Ball Z, I think I started watching Dragon Ball Z. And so I don't know if I ever actually, back then, ever watched the actual first Dragon Ball. But it's always been an interesting concept, and I knew the mythology behind it. I actually had the Dragon Ball game. It was called Dragon Power, actually, for the Nintendo. And see, a friend of mine, he would come over every Sunday and bring, he'd record stuff off of Adult Swim, and then we'd watch it together every Sunday. And he would bring over Dragon Ball Z and sometimes Dragon Ball. And so I had this game called Dragon Power, and it would play out a lot like the Dragon Ball episodes did. And he noticed that, and at the time I didn't realize that it was like, like that. Plus they censored it quite a bit, which they had to, of course. Now we're going to get into censorship quite a bit into this one. And as you can see, it does say 13 plus. And that's true. So, and I kind of agree with that to a certain extent. See, the culture in Japan is kind of different from the culture here in America. It's said that, or it used to be the case, that America was like more Christianized than, like, say, the other countries of the world. And so they had different moral values, let's say. My view has always been, honestly, I'm going to just be honest here and say I've never really been a fan of censorship. I've always felt that censorship kind of stifled creativity. But I know why we have it, because it's to keep young kids from seeing things they shouldn't. And so that's why there is censorship to begin with. But this is a 13 and up book. And it's for a very simple reason. There is nudity in this book. Now, when it comes to nudity, I have two classifications for nudity. One is what I would call innocent, which is non-sexual nudity. It's just casual nudity. And that's... I never really had a problem with that. The other kind is, of course, the explicit stuff, where people do explicit things and stuff like that. But there's not that in this book. There's only casual nudity, I would say. And basically, it's to prove a point. Now, if you've ever watched the even the Adult Swim version of Dragon Ball, that's the Funimation, I believe. The Funimation versions of even the first episode. You'll know that they don't censor that, and you can actually see like the versions of it on YouTube, probably, of the uncensored, because it's just casual nudity. Goku in this is really young. He's like 8 years old or something, and he doesn't know any better. And that's to show that he's innocent, that he's, that he doesn't know any better. And Akira Toriyama does a really good job of that. I would say Akira, but I know that's not the proper pronunciation. And I'm trying to be, honorable to someone who is deceased. The creator of this graphic novel was a great person. Touched so many lives, and you even see aspects of Dragon Ball in other franchises. You see aspects of it in One Piece. You see aspects of it in, the big ones. When you think of anime, manga, you think of the big ones, and you realize that he's touched a lot of lives and had an influence in, basically, even in gaming. I think there was Akira Toriyama's drawings that were the original, what was it called? Dragon Warrior, that was it. You know, like with the picture of the cartoony slimes and stuff. And then, if you take into account that Pokemon basically took some of those designs from Dragon Warrior and then imported them into Pokemon, then you see that you have an infiltration into one of the biggest franchises, if not the biggest franchise in the world. So, but yeah, we will go a little bit into the censorship stuff in here. Now, this is episodes. Is this the first 10? We'll check. Wow. I think it's said in here. Yeah, Tale 10. Okay, this is the first 10 story arcs. In the first story arc, of course, Goku meets Bulma. And Bulma is kind of strange, I will say. I think she kind of hits on Goku a little bit, even though he's like 8 years old. And so, yeah, Goku can't understand technology. And so that makes sense. She tries to give Goku a bath, which kind of gets interesting. And all this is, I'm pretty sure that there really isn't much difference from the manga than the Funimation version that they released. But yeah, it is a very well thought out thing. Now, also, I think, okay. The spine, I'm looking at the spine right now. You can't see the spine. But I think that if I had like all of the Dragon Ball things, then it would form Shenron. Because I see Shenron's head here with the number 1 Dragon Ball. Which means there might be 8. Well, no, wait, there's 7 Dragon Balls. 7. There'd be 7 of these and it would form a full Shenron, I think. With each... Because this is the 1-star ball, so 2 would be the 2-star ball, 3 would be the 3-star ball. Until you had a full Shenron. I'm guessing. I don't know. Because I only have the first one. I could see real quick what the copyright information is. I'm going backwards to this, and it's going to... here it is. Says... Because I'm going on about how old this is. 1984. No, 2001. Says new and adapted artwork and text 2001 Viz Communications, all rights reserved. Of course, this is probably the 6th printing, 2002. I got this from a comic shop that later went out of business when the owner passed away. Journey Comics. So here's the story. Someone had given me a gift card to Journey Comics, and I'm no stranger to Journey Comics because I'd buy Pokemon cards there from all the time. Journey Comics was like, a corner comic book store. It was very homey. It had lots of shelf space for comics and books and collectibles. And also there'd always be guys, in the back playing board games, and like D&D and stuff. So that was always cool too. But I would mainly, buy Pokemon cards there, especially... I got like first edition, Team Rocket there back because I was there like when they first released that particular thing. But anyways, it was just a really nice feel to have it. Plus, it was a game store, so it had like the shelves of games and all the miniatures, and it always just gave me warm, fuzzy feelings to think back to it. Anyways, someone had given me a gift card there. It was like $20 or something. So I was looking around. I found one book that was the, does anybody remember the old D&D cartoon? I'll do a review of that too if I can find it. I have to remember where I put that. But they had one of those, and it was like from Britain actually, or something. This book that was about the, it had like a story that wasn't in like the cartoons. Really, really a nice book. And so I bought that. And then I was looking through their graphic novels, and I saw this, and I bought this. This Viz graphic novel of Dragon Ball. And I'm like, well, this looks cool, because, I was used to Dragon Ball Z, because I don't think I'd actually seen Dragon Ball. And I'm like, well, this looks cool. And, so yeah. But we do need to get into the content here. It does say, just right inside the cover. You know, like if you're an American, you're going to open the back cover, and that's where all the copyright information is. And it does say that it is meant for children ages 13 and up. And basically, the reason is the nudity. There is some nudity here, but as I said, it isn't like bad nudity or anything like that. It's just what I would call casual nudity. We could go into every instance of the nudity in this. We do see, and again, the nudity in terms with Goku is basically just to show that he's like innocent. He doesn't know any better. He doesn't realize that civilized people actually wear clothes some of the time, and stuff like that. We also have some instances of Bulma, some rather interesting instances where Yamcha sees Bulma, well, naked from the, well, down to the waist, anyways. Just, you know, her chest. He sees her naked, you know, and Master Roshi gets quite a show too, because there's a weird situation here where Goku doesn't know the difference between boys and girls. He's too young for that, and I'm giving context here. So, anyways, it's gonna be kind of, if you don't know the context, it's gonna sound weird, but for some reason, Bulma doesn't realize that she's not wearing underwear, and so Master Roshi, he's kind of a pervert. That's kind of his thing. He's this old guy who's a pervert, and he wants to see her panties, and she's like, sure, she doesn't care, but then she realizes later that she isn't wearing any. So Master Roshi got kind of a little bit of a show. Now all that we see is we see her butt. That's about it. But yeah. Those are the only instances of nudity I would say that are in the book, and that's all, you know, for the story, you know, for stuff like that. But this is a wonderful graphic novel if you're really into Dragon Ball. And of course, it is based off of the Sun Wukong. I think it's the story of Sun Wukong, if I'm not mistaken. It's a retelling of the Sun Wukong. Plus, we get that also in Black Myth Sun Wukong, which is like, you know, the Dark Souls game that came out. It would have been 2 years ago by now, but it was like really popular because it was really difficult, and all the characters were really well rendered, I would say. That's really hard to say fast. I'm not gonna say that fast because it's one of those tongue twisters. But anyways, so it also has cultural significance too. Then again, Dragon Ball is no stranger to controversy, I would say, because one of the Red Rocket members, Red Ribbon. Red Ribbon was basically created by Emperor Pilaf to find the Dragon Balls, and so he could get the wish. But anyways, one of the Red Ribbon generals, I think they were named after colors, and so there was Blue, and Blue was kind of a bad dude. And the comics, or at least the TV show, really went into exactly how bad of a person he was, because it was kind of that he was, I'll just go out and say it, he was kind of into little boys, and they weren't shy about that either, because he would hit on some of the male townspeople that were well underage. But he got killed, obviously. But they do a good job of making characters unlikable, which is also another trait. But anyways, this is also really well worth watching, worth reading. This goes from basically meeting Goku all the way to, I think it's Frying Pan Mountain or something, where we meet the Ox King, and then we also, I think we meet Chi-Chi also, and eventually Goku marries Chi-Chi, and they have, I think they have 2 kids. No, is it 2 or 3? think they have 2 kids. I don't exactly remember anymore. It's been so long. I think I watched some Dragon Ball Super. Um, um, so yeah, I would watch shorts until like I had seen all of like Dragon Ball Super. Um, don't think I've seen any of Dragon Ball GT. But I did watch most of Z, I think, and some of the movies. I think I actually have a copy of the Brawley movies, all 3 of the Brawley movies. And I do want to do a video on those too eventually. Maybe not in this time slot because it's not written media, but I do want to go into those because it's kind of interesting because Brawley just seems to get weaker and weaker as the movies go on. Like in the first movie, he's like nigh unbeatable, and by the 3rd movie, then Trunks and Gohan are able to like beat him pretty easily. It's kind of interesting because I think in one instance, Trunks is able to break one of Brawley's holds by peeing on him or something, which is kind of interesting. But anyways, yeah, this is really a great graphic novel as long as you're 13 and up. And yeah, also notice the colors here are slightly different than the ones they used in the color of Goku's outfit is different than the ones used in the TV show because is it called a gi? I know it's GI, but I don't know if it's pronounced. I think it's pronounced gi. His outfit is a darker orange in the TV show, and he has a black belt instead of a white belt here. But the staff is still red, and Shenron is still green. So all that's pretty much the same. But I just thought that was kind of a neat little different thing. Plus, in the back, it has all 10 of the covers here. And sometimes you'll see like creatures that don't exactly exist. Like there's a dinosaur thing here that they're both riding on, but that's not exactly in the thing and in the show. But anyways, it's just really interesting. But yeah, I usually donate my graphic novels to the library, but this is just one I wanted to keep a hold on just because it has special significance to me because basically it is a reflection of simpler times. It reminds me of watching Dragon Ball Z with a friend of mine, and it just brings up really good memories. I guess I'm just a sucker for nostalgia at this point. But anyways, that is going to do it for this video, though. I'm sure that almost any library could probably get a copy of this, either through interlibrary loans, rails. That's what we have here in Illinois anyways. I don't know what other library systems have, but I'm sure that they could probably ask other libraries for graphic novels. And there's probably apps like, I haven't checked on Libby, but I know that our library has access to Libby and Boundless. So those are 2 other ones that you could possibly do if your library has access to those. Also, our library recently got Canopy, which is spelled with a K. Canopy with a K, and that's a streaming service. So you could see if your library gets that too. You can watch lots of movies and even TV shows, and all the kids stuff on the website is free. Otherwise, you're paying tickets, and you have like a certain number of tickets a month, I think, or something. And you can just watch movies that way, which is kind of cool. And it's streaming. It's a streaming service, which is kind of neat. And it's free through the library. All you need is a library card. Anyways, but yeah. That is going to do for this video, though. Shout outs to Akira Toriyama for making such an amazing graphic novel. Endless creativity is what I would say. And so yeah. But anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. You are loved, and have a great day.